Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strike Zone with Manager George Tsamis. Strike Zone is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to ask the St. Paul skipper questions about the Saints, baseball, or life in general. Each week, the skipper is happy to answer whatever questions are given to him. This week, we have an interesting program going on. We're going to find out what's happening with the status of All-Star slugger Ian Gack, as well as find out some interesting tidbits that the skipper has for us about life and his idea about how to beat a speeding ticket this week. So we look forward to that, and let's get right to Strike Zone.
All right, we want to thank George Tsamis for joining us again this week. So George, first let's get a little injury update from you. Ian Gack was eligible to come off the DL, but isn't yet. So where are we at with him?
He's still day-to-day with the hamstring. It's getting better, but I'm not sure if he'll be back in the next couple of days. We're hoping he will be in Sioux City, but it's just day-to-day, and we just want to make sure he's 100%. We don't want him to come back too early, aggravated, and be out for another 3 weeks. So we're just playing it smart, day-to-day.
Sam Moss, is the wrist doing better then?
He did get another MRI, and it came back good. So just a matter of him just swinging without pain, and hopefully he'll take batting practice tomorrow, and we'll see how it is, from there. But it just depends. It just depends if it hurts when he swings, but I'm guessing he would be not day to day, but maybe week to week. Maybe next week he would be better. We'll just have to see when he swings.
I did want to ask you, activated your bullpen catcher for this week. Is that just because DeFazio has been kind of taking a beating at the plate lately, or?
No, it's because we had a roster spot open, and Aaron Gretz has been our bullpen catcher for a long time and does a great job. Doesn't say a word, doesn't complain about anything, and he's going back to school after this series, going back to Ohio State to finish his school there. So we had him as a bullpen catcher, knowing he is good enough to play in our league. Since he's leaving, when we traded Drew Gay, we had the roster spot, so we decided to sign him for a few days, but tomorrow will be his last day, and then he's going back to Ohio State.
Now, what prompted the move to trade away Gay?
Well, he's a better starter than he is reliever, and yeah, he wasn't happy with his role, which you can't blame him. He's going to be a good starter for them. And then part of it too is the salary cap too. It's just with the guys on the DL all season long here, that's counted on the cap, so we had to free up a little money as well, and so that's why we did it. And he'd be better off as a starter. He can start for our team as well, but our 5 starters have done pretty good too, so it's not like he's done anything wrong. It's just a matter of our starters have done well. There wasn't a spot in the rotation, and it helps out the salary cap a little bit.
Our first question comes from Craig from Bloomington, who says Willie Argo is playing so well, but no one seems to be talking about him too much. What kind of year do you think he is having?
I think he's having an outstanding year. He's an excellent outfitter, as are Alonso and Kwasnicka. Our 3 outfitters, that may be, in all the years of doing this, that may be the best outfielder I've ever had. And Willie Argo is a smart player. He gets big hits. He's an excellent outfitter, and he steals bases when he wants, and he's a smart base runner, and he's just a real good, solid, all-around player, and in my opinion, one of the top 2 or 3 outfitters in this league.
He's made a lot of fantastic plays this season for sure.
He does a great job out there, and he's just a solid player.
Stephen from Richfield would like to know what you intend to do to celebrate the division title.
Just enjoy it. We're just here to play every day, and yeah, when that happens, then I'll let you know after it happens. You can ask me that after it happens.
Tom from St. Paul wonders, 2 guys leading the league in hitting and RBIs, top 3 in wins. Do you feel like you have an embarrassment of riches here?
Tell you what, these guys there's several guys that are having great years, and from hitters, pitchers, and it's so nice to, every night you go out there, you have a decent starter out there that you have a chance to win, and the lineup, it just seems like a different guy does it every day. Vinny's having a great year, Sanko's having a great year, Argo's good, Kwasnicka's good, Alonso's good, and lately the bottom half of the order, guys are getting it done. It's just some good guys that are, on a good team, you need to have several guys getting it done, and that's exactly what's happening.
You have to feel pretty good too, without even Ian being able to play much for you lately.
Absolutely, yes. We've been without him for the last 11 days, and earlier in the season as well, we missed him for some days too. But that just tells you how how this team works. Just different guys step up every day and get the job done.
Sally from Maple Grove would like to know, the team seems to be really excited at how well Steve Nicorak is playing for you guys. So she would like to know, is he kind of an inspiration to the team, showing all this guts that he's had about coming back?
That's exactly it. He's very gutsy, and since he's come back, he stepped right in there like nothing's happened, and he's gotten some big hits since he's come back too. And obviously when he got hit by the pitch, it was an accident. It wasn't intentional, but it's just terrible that it happened. And we went back to Fargo, and he hit a home run off the guy that hit him, and then he ended up hitting another home run in that game as well. And so he's had some clutch hits since he's been back, and fits right in, and it's good because it couldn't happen to a better guy.
Mike from North Branch would like to know, watching Dustin Crenshaw pitch a few times here at the stadium, he doesn't seem to be overpowering anyone, but figures out ways to win. How do you think he's doing that?
I'll tell you what, he throws strikes first of all. He changes speeds, doesn't throw the ball over the middle of the plate, and he's just getting ahead of those hitters as well too. He's just a guy that has a plan out there. Like I said, changing speeds, throwing it on the corners, not throwing it over the middle of the plate is why he's getting it done, and he's been outstanding.
I think people get the wrong impression, because just because you throw 99 miles an hour doesn't mean you can just place it anywhere you want.
I'll tell you what, the higher you go, yeah, you can throw hard, but if it's straight, they're going to hit it the higher you go. And those guys with the ball moves and change speeds, those guys are harder to hit than a guy that throws 93 miles per hour that's straight.
Trey from St. Paul asks, whenever I go to games, I hear people say that the only thing standing in the way of the Saints winning this year is their bullpen. I look at the stats and watch them pitch. I think they look really good. What makes them the Achilles heel?
You know what? Zuzalik and Rodabaugh have been real good down there. They've got it done pretty much most of the time we brought it in. They've been excellent down there, and especially last night. Zuzalik was outstanding, and Rodabaugh was great. And at other times we've had the other guys down there, and one day they come in and get the job done, and one day they struggle, and they just need to be a little more consistent. And we are looking for another reliever right now, because we are down to 10 pitchers, and hopefully we can find another solid right-handed arm.
Jeff from St. Paul would like to know what kind of tips you would give to kids on playing baseball.
Simple. Play hard, show up on time, and keep your mouth shut. And you let your actions on the field speak for you. You don't need to tell everybody, hey, you're good at this, you're good at that. You're a young kid. Just go out there, work hard, because the higher you go, there's always going to be somebody better than you, and you want to be the best. You need to work hard and just keep going, because there's always somebody better.
Hal from Hudson has an option for you. He says, this seems like a fair swap. The Packers are the best and the Vikings stink, and the Saints are the best, so it sounds like a great deal.
You know what? The Packers were excellent, and it was a shame the way they went out in the playoffs last year after blowing that lead and had the game won. And you know what? The Vikings are going to be tough this year too, and it's exciting, and it's starting tonight. We have our first exhibition game tonight in football, so it's going to be an exciting year, and the Vikings are going to be better than a lot of people think.
Actually, let's jump to that question since we're on there. What do you think about Teddy Bridgewater coming into this season?
You know what? Not that I'm a football expert, because I'm not in any way, but I think he does a good job back there, and if he can just cut down mistakes, and he doesn't need to make the big plays, just make the smart plays, and he could be like Russell Wilson is. Russell Wilson, I know we all know what happened in the Super Bowl, but that guy doesn't make many mistakes. He's as solid as quarterback as there is, and just being smart, and he can run with it, he can make good passes. And Teddy Bridgewater, he can be like him too. He had his first year, and why can't he? He has a great running back behind him, good receivers, good defense hopefully this year. So I think he's going to be. I think he could be a solid guy for a long time.
Cal also wonders what you think about Adrian Peterson for the season.
He's going to have a great year, is what I think. And he's been the best guy for a long time, and he's had a year off, obviously, and I think he's in for a monster season.
Maggie from Anoka has read that Dan Kasrowski is a teacher too. Will he be with the team when the school season starts?
We think he'll be with us through the start of the playoffs. He may have to miss a game in the playoffs, but we'll deal with that, when that time comes. And I'm glad he's doing well, because he came in, did us a favor when we needed a guy in a hurry because of all the injuries, and then told us he was going to leave about 2 weeks ago, just going to hang him up and enjoy the rest of the summer. But then he saw we still needed some guys and changed his mind and decided to stay with us. And ever since he decided to stay with us, he's been swinging the bat real well, and he plays as good a second base as anybody you'll see.
Absolutely. I should say school year. I think I said school season. My apologies about that. Mark from West St. Paul wonders, do you think David Price makes the Toronto Blue Jays a serious contender?
Absolutely, and not just him. They getting Tulowitzki and David Price, that's changed everything. They've won 8 in a row, and I think we're going to see them in the playoffs. I think that's and if you saw them in the World Series, that shouldn't surprise anybody. They're so good right now and exciting. I think they bring the fans out now. You make a move like that just to get a guy like that, and they got two big moves, and look where they are now, and they're on a roll.
Craig from Brooklyn Center would like to know that he heard you're into playing fantasy football and wants to know what kind of strategy you employ. Like, do you choose running backs first?
You know what? I love fantasy football, but I'm not very good at it, and I just enjoy watching the game. So you're asking the wrong guy on the strategy thing. I just love doing it, though.
Mark from Woodbury would like to know who you think is going to be in the Super Bowl this season.
I would hope the Patriots are in the Super Bowl because of all the whole Tom Brady thing, and even the game that they were complaining about the balls with against the Colts. Well, so they took those balls out in the second half. They shut them out 28-0 with regular balls. So people all want to just criticize the Patriots that the only reason they won is because they cheated, but guess what? They find ways to get it done. They're well coached, the best coach, great quarterback, and so I would like to see the Patriots play the Vikings in the Super Bowl. That would be great. But if the Patriots play the Packers in the Super Bowl, that would be outstanding as well. That would be an exciting matchup.
Do you consider yourself a Patriot fan, or it's just kind of the way that they've been tacked in the media that is interesting?
I live out there. I live in Connecticut, so it's just, you see him all the time. And Tom Brady, I know even before all this stuff, Tom Brady's always been a hated person. But you'd love to have guys like that play the way he does on the field with fire, and when things don't go right, he gets mad about it, and you'd love to have guys like that. So I wish we had. I'll take everybody on my team, Tom Brady. You like his attitude, and he cares about winning, and he studies and he works hard, and you need guys like that.
And willing to give up money too to help the team.
Absolutely. Well, not that he needs it. I think he's okay, but he's awesome.
But even in that, you realize that, some players would say, I'm the best guy, I got to be paid like I'm the best guy. But
yeah, but you know what, though? It's just, I don't know, in the salary cap world, too, like you just said, maybe he's taking less money because of the salary cap, and I think it's great he does that. And I was talking to somebody else today. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady as your quarterbacks. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is number one, but if Tom Brady's behind him, it's not by much. It's Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and everybody else.
I agree with you there. A computer game nerd would like to know, have you ever played video games, and what is your favorite that you like to play?
I played years ago, but it's been 15, 20 years, and now I have no interest in playing any of those things. It's a waste of time, so I just don't do it.
Howard from St. Paul asks, Skipper, you're a smart guy. The Kardashians, I just don't get it. Do you?
I've watched the show before, and it's good for some laughs sometimes, but it's been a while since I have seen it, and people like that stuff.
Our last question for the Skipper this week is, what's the best excuse you've ever used to beat a speeding ticket?
I've never beat one, so there are no excuses. You can try to, I have to go to the bathroom, you can try that one, but I don't think you're going to win.
Thanks, George, for joining us this week.
Okay, thank you, man.
We want to thank Manager George Tsamis for joining us on Strike Zone this week. If you have your own questions you'd like to ask the St. Paul Saints skipper, please send them to us at askgeorge@minorleaguesportsreport.com. Once again, that's askgeorge@minorleaguesportsreport.com. Please have them to us by Friday at noon so that we can give the skipper a couple of days to review the questions before we record the show on Sunday afternoon. We thank you for joining us this week. I'm Rob Pannier, the managing editor of the Minor League Sports Report, and we look forward to seeing you next week on Strike Zone.